What do you miss about high school? Having a job, but no real bills. Playing N64 for hours every day after school with my friends. GoldenEye, Smash Brothers, or sometimes WWF, pre-renamed to WWE, back in the days when multiplayer games were about sitting on a couch with friends, as opposed to sitting alone in your room listening to strangers spew a torrent of abuse at you and at each other. Getting to see all my friends day in and day out. Now we're all scattered across the globe and we catch up maybe once a year, because work has us all busy. It was both a blessing and a curse, that you knew you would see everyone the next day. It's strange, but having crushes. I can't remember the last time I knew a girl and just pined for her. Just not being able to speak correctly around or to her, fantasizing about the smallest things, just wanting to be around her. I just miss having that kind of innocent, weak in the knees, just sorta desire, and not backquote desire just in the context of sex. I mean just liking somebody so much, and wanting so much to tell them, and having real difficulty doing so, and wanting so badly to have them like you back. I miss that feeling. I miss that pull in my heart towards somebody. This is close to mine as well. Remember being in public and walking near someone you thought was cute over and over but not saying anything, just making eyes at each other? That new awareness that wow, I want to hold hands with this person. I want to be near them. They look so interesting. Or flirting 4 years with someone in HS. As an adult you still feel that sometimes, but you're jaded about how relationships end, the baggage involved, your life being less stable. That innocent crush feeling gets bogged down by logistics. A friend of mine named John. Guy had a hard life. His real dad used to experiment drugs on him. He was 18 years old and homeless as a senior as his stepdad kicked him out. Moved to Idaho to stay with his brother for a few months. Came back to help take care of his grandpa who unfortunately passed away soon after. He taught me to be confident in myself. I was so girl shy, very anxious doing public speaking, and thought I was ugly. He was very confident. All the girls loved him for being a bad boy. IDK how but we clicked in a very romantic way. Sometimes he would come over, and we would just sit on the sidewalk talk for hours, and staring into space thinking we'd make it big, and talk about going on double dates with our future wives. He would tell me to respect myself. He was there for me after my first breakup. I would let him use my phone, so he could text girls, since he didn't have a cell phone. We were a very odd friendship. I moved out of town for college. He was hard to get a hold of, since he didn't have a cell phone, unless he had a prepaid one. Here and there he would drop a hello, and we promised we'd hang out when I came back from college. I didn't move back home, since I got a job out of town, and got caught up in my own life. We never did get the chance to hang out. He passed away. His family wouldn't respond as to what happened. Died on his 25th birthday. I'm sorry, John. I miss our talks. How straightforward and safe it was. Biggest worry was having bad grades, or getting rejected by your crush. Adulthood is like having your blinders removed, and realizing you are walking on a narrow edge with chasms at the sides. Yup. Also, after high school you realize that for the first time in your life you are utterly responsible for not only taking care of your obligations, but deciding what is important to you in life. Nobody is there holding your hand and pointing out the next step. You suddenly have a completely open road, but no roadmap to speak of. On top of that, you're competing with people in their 30s who are still young enough to make progress in their careers, but also have a decade of adulting experience that you don't have. People think your 20s are your best years, but honestly your 20s kind of suck. You may not be as pretty or thin in your 30s, but you also aren't fazed by half the shit that would put a 20-something into a panic. A few friendships and some awesome teacher classes as a result of awesome teachers. Now most of those friendships have splintered into absolute nothingness and most of the cool teachers have retired, moved, or died over the last 5 years. That Friday feeling during the fall, like you knew good times were gonna be had on this evening night. I think the thing I miss most is that feeling that goes through your entire body and soul when you see that pretty girl for the first time and she smiles at you and you just know that you two are going to have some great times together. I miss that feeling of having such a crush on her that even just knowing you might run into her tonight is enough to get you feeling like electricity in the air just before a big thunderstorm. Love your comment. Also, how much more slowly time passed. On Friday afternoon it was like, I'm not coming back here until Ducking Monday, beaches, and it seemed like a genuinely long time ahead. Longer breaks like vacations seemed insanely long, at least when they were ahead of you. Now the weeks seem to fly past. I miss the freedom I felt hanging out with my friends and how excited I could be over nothing, meaning we may just be riding around or stopping at Wendy's for a Frosty. Everything brought me happiness. I miss the specific type of freedom and joy I got from those moments. I also miss my mom and how safe, comfortable, and easy life was, even when it wasn't. Somehow, even in the toughest of times, mom made everything better. Hit the nail on the head with how much everything gave you such pleasure and happiness. I remember when buying a monster was a super exciting treat, or how thrilled I'd be to buy 1-2 games with my Christmas money. I'm always chasing that high to various levels of success. I largely gave up on chasing that high. Plenty of things make me happy and fulfilled, but rarely that intensely. So now that I've kinda reached peak life enjoyment after traveling and such, I just decided to have kids and experience that joy secondhand. It's the only thing that has made me get jiggly and thrilled on a daily basis. I hope they like video games and the stuff I did, but even if they don't, it'll be cool watching them light up over life's pleasures. It's not for everyone, I know, but it's a nice experience if you're a happiness vampire and find joy in seeing other people happy. Social media consisted mostly of AIM. No Facebook, and MySpace wasn't very popular yet. Also cell phones were a rarity. I really miss not being expected to be instantly reachable at any time. Don't get me wrong, I appreciate the hell out of my pocket computer, but that aspect I do miss. Seeing friends every single day, you try to stay in touch as much as possible, but I certainly underestimated how hard that is, right? As an old dude with teenagers, I envy what my kids have. During the school year I pick my son and his friends up from sports practice, and they hang out around the house doing homework together before I drop the friends off at home. Both of my kids are allowed to have friends over whenever they want, and sleepovers are common. They hang out at school, during practice, after school, and then spend the night and wake up the next day and to hang out on the weekend. Friends are over here daily during the summer. My son and his friends competed in a 5K and youth triathlon this summer for no other reason than because they could. They had the time and figured they might as well. My daughter didn't compete, but trained with them sometimes, since she is doing cross country this fall. The other kids are doing different sports but ran anyway. They had fun training together every day leading up to the events. Nothing beats riding bikes with friends, coming over to cool down in the pool, and then camping out in the backyard on a nice summer night. I have very close friends that I only get to see once a year. I don't miss much about being a teenager, but staying in touch with friends makes the shortlist for sure. It gets so much harder when people have careers, families, and adult obligations that come before simply hanging out and doing random ass crap for the hell of it. You forget how great that is. The ability to be naive about how the world really works sure doesn't stop a lot of adults today. Those desks where the chair was attached, I could crack my back so good with those things. I miss being able to do that regularly. Seeing my best friend. I always had at least one class with her. She committed suicide the summer before my sophomore year of college. She had so many plans for her future. She was my biggest supporter. She always believed in me. It's been 2 years since the night I found out, but I can't remember a day in these last 2 years I haven't thought about her. There's nothing I wouldn't do to see her smile one more time, to feel her hug one more time, to hear her laugh one more time. One more second is all I'd need. I had so much hope for the future. I could enjoy the here and now without letting the bad things get to me too much, because I knew that high school was only a small part of my life. Didn't have money, No problem. I'll have more when I get older. No girlfriend? No problem. I've still got plenty of time to find the one. Looking back, I can see that teenage Tubamajuba thought that life would just happen to me. Ignorance was bliss, but now I'm paying for it. I miss Brenda. She wasn't into me or anything. She had a boyfriend, but she would talk to me sometimes when we were finished with track practice and I was waiting for the bus and she was waiting for her ride. She talked a mile a minute and said whatever was on her mind, and I found her delightful. We talked to each other at track and cross country meets too. I remember one time we were talking at a cross country meet while it was pouring down rain, and for some reason she hugged me. I don't know why she did it, but it felt wonderful. Sometime during junior year, her boyfriend knocked her up. She finished junior year, took summer school to get enough credits to graduate, and the two of them went off to get married. I never saw her again. Sigh. It was so easy. I had a car my parents paid for. 0 bills. All the money I made was personal spending money. I had a constant group of friends to hang out with and went to school in one of the best areas of the city with tons of shops within walking distance. I was a privileged upper middle class kid and everything was ridiculously easy. High school was great. Not what? Who? My lovely friend who was killed. I dream about him a lot, and I usually wake up crying as a result. Ham sandwiches with Lay's chips sprinkled in them. For those that say I could make them at home, it's not the same. Take a vacation day, just one Friday. Stay up late Thursday watching Conan YouTube clips, and eat a sloppy PB&J with a tall glass of milk. Sleep in as late as you please, but eat a bowl of Cocoa Puffs. Think about maybe going to the pool, but end up playing video games until your belly grumbles. Then, pull out the ham and Lays. Don't forget the Miracle Whip and Wonder Bread. Put that on a styrofoam plate and sit in the sun and chow down. It'll feel close enough th. I just graduated a month ago, but I miss some of my friends. I still talk to them, but we are at the point where we are all going separate ways in life. One of my best decisions was to keep in touch with my 5 to 6 best friends in high school, regardless of where life took us after graduation. Now that I'm 30, we are all still really tight and most of them stayed local, so we hang oft. If you value some of these friendships you made in high school and want to keep in touch, don't let it fizzle out. The thing I miss the most is being bored. IDK if teenagers currently even have this anymore. 5 to 6 kids sitting there trying to figure out what to do with themselves. Among our stupid ideas were trying to do skateboard RZA scooter tricks into a pool, blowing up a large ant's nest with kerosene, deciding to play 7 Minutes in Heaven with a definitely inadequate ratio of guys to girls, which led to some hurt feelings. But our collective imaginations got lazier once I got a car and we all just piled in there and loitered at the mall non-stop. I miss band, specifically marching band. That sheet was the only thing I looked forward to every single day. Some days I hated the directors in my section. Other days I felt like a ducking god after running a show. I miss being in the stand Thursday or Friday nights and trying to outplay each other. I miss that first downbeat of the drum major. I miss playing in the competitions. I live for that sheet, man. I wouldn't go back, but I always go other ways to do that stuff. This is the comment I've been searching for the last 30 minutes of my life. I miss doing the competitions, the Friday nights, spending too much money on stuff I didn't need, hanging with my friends, making fun of other people, singing on the bus at 1 AM, doing that every week for half the school year for 4 years. I miss getting super sweaty after every run of the show, blasting my lips out just for fun, trying to play everybody around. I miss being my own French horn section for 2 years. I just miss band.